In this screencast, we're going to practice using analytical method number 5, sorting causes by proximity. And this is important because historians usually assign more importance to those causes that are more chronologically proximate, that is, they're closer in time, to the events in question they're trying to explain. This isn't always the case. Now, some historians are going to take a very long view of things and assign more importance to long-term causes. But when they do that, they need to be extra careful about explaining why those long-term causes are important. In any case, first step, let's look at the question of why President Obama was elected in 2008. The first thing we're going to do is brainstorm possible causes for Obama's win in 2008. Now I'm going to do this off the top of my head, so don't beat me up if I misremember some of my history here. The important thing is going over the way that we use this method. I've heard it argued that Obama won the election because the financial meltdown intensified in the fall of 2008, and that increased the voters' wish for a change in economic policies. I also remember people talking about Obama doing a pretty good job in the debates versus McCain, so let's put that up there. It's been argued that Obama represented a change from the military policies of the Bush administration, and that's why he was elected. I also remember that Obama first kind of entered the national consciousness after his 2004 speech at the Democratic National Convention before the 2004 election. He was also really helped when the media, fairly or unfairly, seemed to turn on Sarah Palin towards the end of the election. If you want to be simplistic about it, you could argue that the cause of his election was the fact that he got more electoral votes than John McCain. You could also argue that it was the Bush administration's reaction to Hurricane Katrina and the public reaction to that response that helped damage the Republican brand and make it more likely that a Democrat would win in 2008. You could argue that it was the way Obama assembled a really impressive campaign organization in the run-up to the Democratic primary that eventually caused him to win the presidential election. You could argue that it was Obama's victory in the Iowa caucus in the beginning of 2008 that kind of launched him towards victory in the Democratic primary and thus eventually the presidential election. If you want to reach back and look for longer-term causes, well, it's hard to have a black president if you don't first have a civil rights era. So now that we've brainstormed, let's sort these existing causes into immediate, short-term, and long-term causes and see where that gets us. Now, as we do this, keep in mind that long-term causes are kind of like structures that the other more proximate causes take place on, or they're ground rules under which those causes happen. Short-term causes could be emerging structures, like they could be trends. They could be events as well that allow later immediate causes to occur. Your immediate causes are generally more likely to be events or maybe decisions. They're often not predictable, and their importance often underlines the importance of contingency, the idea that things happen in history that are not predetermined long in advance, that could go one way or the other, depending on the choices humans make or the accidents that happen, or, say, the weather events that influence results of events. It's fair to say that the most immediate cause of the election of Obama was the fact that he got more. Now, it's fair to say that the most immediate cause of Obama's election was the fact that he got more electoral votes than McCain. So we can put that over here in immediate causes. But does that really explain very much to us? Well, it might tell us something about the American political process, but it doesn't really tell us anything specifically about why Obama won. So this is so immediate, so proximate to the thing we're trying to explain that it doesn't really tell us much. On the other hand, we've got in the civil rights era a long-term cause of the election of Obama as president. But would that have been sufficient? Would the civil rights era alone have been enough to propel Obama to the presidency? Not really. So while the civil rights era is necessary for Obama to have eventually won the presidential election, it also doesn't really explain very much to us. Other immediate causes might be more useful to us. The fact that the media turned on Sarah Palin in the last couple of weeks of the election sticks in my mind as a very powerful cause of McCain's falling poll numbers and Obama's rising poll numbers. Same thing with the financial meltdown in September of that year. I think that was a big event in terms of jolting the poll numbers, which had been relatively equal up to that point. Obama's victory in the Iowa caucus, which I might place somewhere kind of in the middle between short-term. Well, actually, no, I'll put that in short-term causes. And you'll notice as we do this that there's not necessarily going to be one exactly right place for you to put these causes, whether in long or short or immediate. A lot of it is just your judgment, and don't get wrapped up in which you choose. It's more Obama's appearance on the national radar. It's pretty important. It's kind of a longish term cause. His military policies, I would put that somewhere in here. In short-term causes, the building of the strong campaign organization equally seems to be a short-term cause. His good debate performance, that was a more proximate to the final results. Bush's response to Hurricane Katrina might be well seen as a long-term / short-term cause of Obama's election because it fed a general kind of resurgence of the Democratic Party and a feeling of fatigue with the Republican Party. So I hope you think analytical method number 5 is useful. It doesn't answer all of our questions about the cause of Obama's victory, but it does help us kind of sort out our ideas. Some causes are so close to the event that they're not really explanatory for us. Some longer-term causes might have been necessary, but to some extent they are not what a historian would look at when he or she was trying to figure out, all right, what really caused his electoral victory in 2008. Whereas it looks like some causes in the short to intermediate area are really worth looking at more closely, and that's what we'll do with analytical method number 6.